Crash Course Live is presented by Smash It Demolition Derbies and the 2016 Bash for Cash. Demo Derby Masters. Winter Slam 2016. Ultimate Derby and Blizzard Bash and Capital City Carnage. Syopa Racing and SyopaRacing.com. Reckless Abandon Derby Apparel at RecklessAbandonGear.com. And Derby Inc. Magazine. Live it, breathe it, be it, Derby Inc. This is the Crash Course Demolition Derby podcast, recorded live at the FingerLakes1.com studios in downtown Seneca Falls, New York. And now your host, Chris Marquardt.
And good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to the Crash Course Live New Year's Eve party. Dinner finally being served here in the Holiday Inn Chancellor Ballroom. The good look here at the table. You can see the wonderful job that Donnie Dana did on this RC car. Ed Brewster from down in Midlothian, Virginia, sent this car up from JMW Motorsports. Raffles and everything being done around the room now as we see the buffet line beginning to fill up. Word is that Brian's going to be over here with us in just a few minutes. There you go. Had to reframe that camera just a little bit so that everybody could get a good look at it. The biggest news so far was when we started this evening, there was about 20 to 25 raffle tickets still left for that Riviera. At this point, there's only 6 to go. It's $100 a shot to bring home a Riviera. It's a beautiful car. It's actually here on the grounds. Brad Tice brought that. It's hanging out in the parking lot as we speak. Somebody's going to be taking that car home tonight, win, lose, or draw. The goal was to get to 50 tickets. Looks like that's a very reachable goal at this point. Also, in the back, you see 2 items being raffled off for Team Martin. The E2 sliding drive shaft. It was awesome that Elvis Thumb was able to come through and help us the way that he did with that sliding drive shaft. Josh Decker able to get that put together so that we could have a slider drive shaft here. All the proceeds from that going back to Jody Gully, Jeremy Gully, and Team Martin. Also, a second ticket is going to be drawn for the Catskill Fab and Performance 10-gallon tank that you see also on that back wall. Team Martin, also the benefactor of the raffle that the Browns are hosting. You see a couple skid steer tires and SS rims, a big Chrysler bumper, and a new radiator back there on the back wall. Ron McClung here as well. He's raffling off a Mac Tools jacket. It's only $10 a shot on that. 30 tickets max being sold on that one. The Donnie Dana hand-painted Christmas balls are being raffled off on the table over with Rick Clark and R&R Derby Products. He's going to be raffling off a GM distributor protector, distributor clamp. First, before he pulls the runner-up ticket, door prize is absolutely packed. That table is full. But at this point, the biggest news so far has been that raffle that has just absolutely exploded with only 6 tickets left. Here comes Brian Tompkins. I knew he wouldn't miss the buffet line before he got to the table. Why don't you pull your table, your chair right up here, and you can sit with us.
What a turnout, huh?
I know, this is unreal, isn't it? Why don't you slide over a little bit so we can see you?
That's all right.
So we can see you shovel that in.
Hey, you know what? Good food here. We can't let that go to waste. So
no, we wouldn't want that.
We're gonna do some eating. Duh. Ladies and gentlemen, Josh Decker is in the house. Just stood up. If we could get a hand for Josh Decker, ladies and gentlemen.
And no one cares.
For those of you who are here, 3 people clapped. So you know it's all good.
So we're gonna
Chris,
let it.
What do you think, man?
I can't believe this. This is unreal. The surprise of the night was when Candace and Sam Williams showed up.
Yeah,
that was
I was
unreal.
sitting there talking
was
to my
so
wife,
cool.
and all of a sudden I see Candace and Sam up by, and I went, "Oh shit, Sam's here!" And I said Candace, and she came up and said hi, and Sam shook my hand quick, and I haven't had a chance to really talk to him too much yet, but no, it's amazing, man. Great turnout. It's great to see. It's great to see so much support from the Derby world. Josh Decker, I will punch you in the mouth.
Well,
right here in front of God and everybody.
He's right though. Nobody can hear you. That's why I was trying to get that camera.
Oh, all right.
I'll
Sorry,
bind
buddy.
you a little bit. Make sure that's.
Usually, I'm the one everybody can hear.
Usually. Hey, Josh.
Christmas tree behind me. Look at that.
How's your night going?
Good, good. I just pounded my food.
Well, you didn't have to do that. You didn't have to rush it.
You didn't even eat.
Yeah,
No, not yet.
We're used to that. Chris never
Yeah.
eats. I bet you there is some good gluten-free food here.
You want to know something?
No, what you're going to tell me?
There's rolls.
No.
You can't eat them, Josh. Come on, 4 years in,
Josh,
you got to know what this is.
Everything on that buffet is gluten free.
Booyah.
Everything. We worked with the chef and everything. Not
one?
that.
No.
You idiot.
You said everything. I was just checking.
On the buffet. That was after the buffet.
Okay.
Did you see Mike the Freak? She was able to make it. Fought
did
the
see
elements.
Mad Mike.
Fought the elements. Scott Tatters came up with him. It
Wait,
was
man,
good to see
Mike's here.
that.
I didn't see him.
Yeah,
man,
he's-
Mike's-
He's on the parking lot waiting for you.
No, he's gonna fight me. Oh,
No.
he's gonna hang out with me.
He's gonna fight
Oh, I
you.
see
No.
him back there.
No, not even close.
Dude, the list of people here today is so cool, dude. Could you imagine? Sam Williams showed up with Candace.
I know, that was
that's-
awesome.
JC Molly's is here all over Florida, you know?
I know.
Bad Russians in the house. Everybody. It's a great turnout.
Think about it. Florida, Minnesota, Iowa, Nebraska, Pennsylvania, New York, Vermont,
Canada.
Canada.
A lot of Canada.
A lot of Canada.
Yep, a lot of Canada. Hey,
A lot of A's going on.
how about did you see the pictures from Josh's house last night?
Some of them. Yeah. I
Oh
saw-
man, my house was
Did you
awesome.
have a good time last night or
Oh
what?
my god, it was so much fun. We actually had such a blast. You know, it was our game plan was to build something, but you know how it is. It was funny. Brian remembers this exact scenario, but we were reading rules and trying to figure out how we're going to do rules, and trust me, you can't bring 15 guys to your house and then read a rule and decide how you're going to go through it.
No.
Everyone wanted just the bumper weld rule, the
Oh,
bumper
yeah.
shock rule. We stood there for an hour. Finally, everyone got mad. We all walked away, and we did something else. No one even touched the bumper shocks. You know, just everyone builds different, especially when you got guys from different states, you know.
Well, above all, to everybody that's listening at home, Happy New Year. Scott Brown
Absolutely.
weighing in. Bunch of folks, look at David LeJewitt and Twisted Frame. They're tuning in. I know there's some people that are.
David Hasselhoff.
Josh, this is some awesome food. Don't you think so, bud?
I love
Did
how
you
Brian's
taste it?
eating. No, it was good. I shoveled it.
We were gonna sit down here, and then all of a sudden we decided to sit down there, and it didn't work out as had planned. So I mean, I would hate to starve. So I'm
Yeah,
gonna
you
do
wouldn't
a
want that
little
to happen.
Brian, you got a long way to go until you start.
Actually, what my plan is there's gonna be an open bar here quickly.
Oh, your gut. Fill
It's
the
open
gut.
now.
Fill the gut, and then I gotta.
It's open. It is open.
Brian's kind of like a camel with food. Like he could go like 3 weeks probably. Sorry, Brian.
I always heard boxers say they have a lot of protein in their diet.
Yes.
You know,
Yep.
you gotta ward off the star punches.
Yes.
Wow. It's all good. I got broad shoulders. I can take it.
Can't eat with your mouth full.
What?
Don't eat with your mouth full, Brian.
Don't eat
It's
with your
embarrassing.
mouth full? Talk
Stop.
with your mouth full?
That's it.
Is that what you're going for?
Chris, thank you.
Fair enough.
Seconds.
Well, it looks like everybody's been able to get through that line at least one time so far.
And my old lady's going for number 2.
Why not?
Yeah,
Go for
hey.
it. It's there.
We're
You got to do it.
Chris, in all seriousness, why don't you let Josh and I talk for a minute and go out and grab yourself a plate?
Well, I'm good right now. I think somebody actually pulled a plate for me a few minutes ago. I just got to go get to it.
Well, why don't you go get to it, and
Well, no,
Josh and I
just-
can hang
it's
out.
fine,
Will
man.
you
It's
pass
no-
out? Will you just pass out while you talk?
No, I'm good.
No, we saw him go like a week in Topeka without eating. So
We
one
actually
night-
we have retired people like Mike Decker. Here he comes. This old man.
Uh-oh.
What? What are you after, sir?
What do you need?
Oh, here.
Oh, right
I'll take
here?
care of it for you.
Okay, thanks, old man. We'll grab you one.
I'll get with you. Yeah,
Done.
no problem.
Thanks,
Wow.
Pops. Mike
let's
Decker in the
make sure
house.
that's
Do you think he'd do all right in a rivvy?
No. He's lost his touch. He can't drive no more.
Wow.
He's been telling me he's gonna junk me all day. I gotta. I get the last word on here, Pops.
Can you?
No. He gets the last word on the track.
That's what he's. It's true. He would school me on the track. You know.
But how cool would it be to get junked by Mike Decker?
You know what? Him and I run our Brookfield heat together, in the same heat, and he was
Really?
nice enough not to junk me in that. We tried to work together. The Decker name, you know.
Absolutely.
You're the coolest guy here.
I appreciate.
No, not
that.
really.
If you don't count like 30, 40 other people.
I'd agree with that.
Sam Bandow here. Did you learn anything anyway?
Oh man, he was great last night. He really was. You know what was funny is the poor guy couldn't get away from. Literally, people would stop his conversation, ask the next question, and Sam stood there for at least 2 hours, 3 hours, Look how long he sat at the cradle.
Yeah.
Ostrander came out with a new Mopar cradle, which
Sweet.
it is
nice
very
piece.
cool. And we all stood in front of it, kind of like, not critiquing it because it was pretty goddamn close, but Sam had some awesome ideas. You know, we all had some good ideas, and it was interesting to listen to. Mopar Cradle 101.
Well, the thing is, though, is obviously, you know, Sam has been running Blizzard Bash for a few years. So he's tried a lot of stuff, you know, and he's seen a lot of the cradles. So, I mean, he's somebody that can really give Ryan some good feedback, even before that product is run, you know, because he's tried stuff and he knows. So, I mean, I think it was probably beneficial to Ryan to have
He
him.
looked right at it, and he had two things right at it. Bam, this, all easy fixes. Ryan was real close on him. It's like, man, you know, he's like, if you do this, it's going to be perfect. It's like, man, you couldn't get that. Think about how tough. It was smart of Ryan Ostrander because he come over to say, okay, I'll let you guys critique it, but it was smart. How many guys get Sam Band out to critique their cradle before they put it in mass production?
Mm-hmm. No doubt.
And it was neat. It was really neat.
Very cool.
But what about the big news? Officially revealing now, we've got the opportunity, New Year's Eve. The New Year's resolution was for you that you were going to run only big shows next year, and you've already sent in your registration to go partake at Bash for Cash.
Bash for Cash. Yes, I want to run some bigger shows. That's very true. Bash for Cash, you know, as we all know, we've been out there. Bash for Cash is at the top, you know, without a doubt. The Wire Clash last year, it looked like probably one of the most fun derbies of the year to me, you know. And Brian talked about it in the podcast this week. The Wire Clash was awesome, and I think we just wanted to be part of it. That heat was so Central New York derby, wasn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
And I think, like, watching it's like, wait a minute. Because Bash for Cash, let's be honest, it's a little intimidating. Maybe some guys that are farther away you are from Ohio, the more intimidating it is. I'm intimidated. I can't compete with Ohio guys. I can compete in a Wire Class. And I think a lot of guys felt that way. It's like, after watching, it's like, I'll go duke that. I'll go fight for that. So I'm excited about that.
And that's, I mean, are you going to release the whole?
That's where we were going next.
All right,
Was who are you going out there with?
Everybody.
Like?
Let's see, because I'm going to forget if I just start listing.
I've got the list.
Oh,
You
okay, good.
Go ahead. And let you know if you forget anybody.
Okay, let's see. The whole group. Well, there's a whole group. Well, it started with Dan Bolton. Dan Bolton wanted to run and was pushing me. Let's run this Wire Class. Then Gully says, Decker, I'm running Wire Class with Bolton. Okay. You got to run. Okay. Then Dan Bolton says, we got to get Bandow. Okay, how do we get Bandow? So, Bando. We got Bando into, Bandu, as my old lady calls him. So then, he was in. Sherman. We tried to get Buell. Luckily, he's not. Buell's not. Thank the Lord. Buell's not. But then even other guys, Brett Relay, Richie Predmore, Nick DeCastro. I'm not going to say the guy from Ohio because I just don't know if he wants me to say it.
Don't do that.
And Jim Beatty. So the whole group of us are going out there.
That is his style of driving.
Wide
open in straight lines.
If you name every guy in the group, every guy has gone to derbies and run wide open. All those guys are Mad Dog drivers.
Look at Jesse Coco nodding.
And I think that's why it'll be fun to watch because it's just going to be a heat. It's 25 cars. I don't know how many New York guys that is. It's a bunch.
27.
10 or 12. Okay, Kunkel counted. It's gonna be wide open, you know. And I've had some people say like, "What is it gonna be, New York versus?" And I'm telling you right now, I just know our area. If you're in my way, I'm blasting you, and you're blasting me. You know, you just know our area, so it's gonna be fun to see who starts attacking who. And we don't even know who half the other cars are. I mean,
yeah,
it's going to be funny how you drove all the way to Ohio to find a time machine that will take you back to when you were 23 years old and getting jumped by everybody in New York.
Yeah, it'll be standard procedure for me. Really, it'll be just a regular county fair, just getting junked by everybody.
Well, how about the chance to run in front of 10,000 people?
That's really what it comes down to. Not just 10,000 people, but 10,000 people that understand the sport.
Oh, yeah.
Like when you go to a county fair, a lot of times people are yelling, that guy sandbags or this guy's car is blue or what. But at Bash for Cash, you're in front of the best drivers. So when you go out and impressing people, when you go out and win a heat, when you win a Mad Dog, the right people are watching.
Yeah, there's no doubt. No doubt. And I mean, that's the thing, you know, and like you said, though, I mean, everybody from New York that's going, I mean, that's how they, you know, I mean, some people have changed their driving styles, but every one of those guys, that's how they started out driving.
Without a doubt.
Holding it right to the floor and making junk.
And it's some of New York's hardest hitters.
Oh, God.
I mean, it's some of New York's. Okay, we know Richie Predmore is wide open nonstop, never lays off. Okay,
No.
Jim Beatty, wide open, never lets off. I've seen Nick DeCastro junk stuff up in your guys' area. Junk stuff. You know,
Yeah.
Dan Bolton doesn't let off the
No.
gas.
Jeremy
Gully
Gully.
doesn't let off the
Here's
gas.
the thing you got to be nervous about with Bolton is Bolton's eyes roll in the back of his head, and he'll hit you first.
Yeah, he forgets. Dan forgets what he's doing out there. He just hits his friends.
The thing is when better than
It's
half
like
the field
Dan-
is your friends.
Dan shaking his head.
How's he gonna do that?
I'm just going to put a big "Don't Dan" on the side of my car. Don't Dan.
I'll tell you a story about Nick DeCastro you mentioned. When one year he had a 67 Imperial and I had a 66 Imperial, and another guy had a 64 Imperial. We backed off the line, and you back off and you're just kind of stuck in the middle, nothing moves.
Yep.
All of a sudden, the next thing I know, I'm like picking myself up off the floor, pulling myself back into the driver's seat of my Imperial.
Pulling yourself
And I-
right out of the camera frame.
I sit up and look like this to my right, and Nicky DeCastro is putting his sunglasses back on, smiling ear to ear. He'd hit the other Imperial wide open, full track at Waterloo, and he pushed the door into where it broke the battery. One shot done.
And it had so much power, it pushed you on your seat.
Knocked me out of my seat. That's how hard Nick DeCastro
Richie
hit that
Predmore
dude.
hit one time. I felt it through 2 cars, and I remember saying, "God damn, I'm thankful I'm not that first car. Thank God I wasn't that first car."
No, none of the desserts are. None of the desserts are.
Yeah, so it's going to be exciting, just to see, and it'll be fun, because you'll know that we're together. But when you see Brett drive Dan Bolton out of his seat, it'll make you laugh. When you see Nick DeCastro junking Jim Beatty, it's like, you know what? Those two helped each other build each other's cars.
When you see Jesse Kunkel hanging back and letting you two wail on each other.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Jesse,
Jesse
will be right in
Kunkel
the
doesn't
mix.
hang back and let
No.
anybody do
Jesse
anything.
Kunkel, hanging back for Jesse Kunkel in the seat is basically going to mean waiting 2.5 minutes.
He's just waiting to get a runway. Yeah.
Yes,
That,
absolutely
that poor
right.
guy this year, oh my goodness.
True story.
But that's Kunkel's a prime example. Like some guys like to run that style.
Oh, yeah.
And what I've learned about going out west is that's my style. I thought for a while maybe I could become Jimmy Johnson. Maybe I could become Santel and Slowpoke it. No, I'm not. I'm just not.
No,
I'm not.
you're the guy that shows up to win the Mad Dog Award.
And that's it because I can't compete.
But it works well.
I can't compete.
Thanks for cleaning up, Dad.
No problem. What do you think? Should we give away some hardware while we got some time?
Yes.
All right. So I'm going to let you guys talk amongst yourselves for a minute while I get that situated. And
We'll have fun.
So how about Ben? Where's Ben?
Ben just walked in the door, and I didn't see him come over to the table.
Benjamin.
Ben Haas, if you're in here, could you please come up? Oh, he's talking about parts. Never mind. It's just like when we're on the road. He's over taking care of parts, and he'll come back and tell us what's going on.
The thing, like last night at my house, it became a hangout session. It really did.
totally.
Everyone was hanging out. All of a sudden, just Ben looks at everybody. He's like, "Are we going to do something or not?" And 2 minutes later, a whole rear end's out. It was
No doubt.
Ben is absolutely a hard worker. I love having him in the garage.
Oh, yeah.
Because even when you want to take a break, it's like, "Come on, Decker, come on." It's like, "Yeah, okay, let's keep going."
What was funny, because they were standing there when they were talking about the cage, they said something, and I'm like, last year was the easiest cage I ever had. I said, I got new steel from Decker, handed Ben a couple bucks, boom, I had a cage.
Done.
Best cage I've ever had.
Done.
Life was good.
Definitely. Well, it's funny because I listen to Ben very closely,
Oh, yeah.
because some of the things Ben helped me with was huge in my Brookville car.
Yeah.
And but then Bando's standing there, right?
Yeah.
So Bando's like, "Nah, I don't like that," and Ben's like, "That's how I would do it." And then it's like, "I don't like." Okay, which way do I go here?
Well, the funny thing is you guys were thinking about how to do this and do that, and Bando goes, dude, it's a wire car. You're putting way too much thought into it.
It's true.
Just put it together and run.
It's absolutely true.
You can't beat that.
The problem is I don't want him to be embarrassed by it. That's because it's coming out of my garage. I just don't want junk.
As long as the motor runs, he'll take care of the rest.
That's it. The motor's gonna run.
Yeah, as long as that runs, he'll be fine.
Gully got us a tranny today. What?
awesome.
The cool thing is a lot of people have been kicking in to help. We all know I'm broke. I can't afford to build 2 cars, But a lot of people kicked in. Gully gave Rhino's trainer helped us with tank,
Yep.
battery box.
Yep.
Then I needed a tranny. Gully gives me a tranny. Sherman's got a bumper. It's like we threw my Moser rear in it. Slowly together, it's going to come together pretty well, I think.
Absolutely, no doubt. And I know Ben's looking forward to coming down and giving you a hand whenever you need it. So
Yeah.
we were talking on the way down. He was definitely excited about coming down.
I thought Ben had a good time last night. I think
Oh, yeah,
everyone
definitely.
did.
It was awesome. Just to talk. I mean, and I was talking with Sam I don't know, a week or two ago, we were texting back and forth on Facebook, and he said, he goes, it's going to be good to just be able to hang out and talk, and I'd have to hurry because
Yes.
heat coming or
Yes,
derby and
yes.
stuff like that. And it is. It's really cool. I mean, we've said it a million times. We've gotten to meet so many people, but the problem is usually it's at a derby.
Oh,
And
yeah.
there's always something coming. We can
Yes.
talk for a few minutes, but then we got to take off. So to be able to just hang out and talk last night, I mean, it was great. It really was.
And if you look at the pictures, Katie had a good point. Is the groups kept changing? It's not like
Oh,
the
yeah.
same three people kept talking.
Yep.
Like
No.
you and me talk. Then Ben's over talking to and the groups just kept changing. And if you walked into a conversation, a lot of times you got stuck in it because you're like, all right, let's hear what you guys are saying.
Yeah.
What do you got?
No doubt. No doubt.
Chad Winney was there. Chad Winney last night really impressed me with his Mopar talk, Mopar Magnum talk.
Yeah.
Again, we all watch Rick Engelhart run the Magnums,
Oh.
right? And Chad and I have talked a bunch of times is Rick was always running a little bit longer. What were the little fine tunes? And I think Chad Winney, he's put a lot of brain thought into it, a lot of reading, and I think he figured it out. And I'm interested. I'm saying to everyone, watch Chad Winney's Magnum this year because I'm telling you, it's going to be a little bit better than what we've been seeing.
And the thing is too is that Rick was running longer and he was running harder. I mean, Rick
Than all of us.
Yeah, way harder. And I mean, you've had some troubles with your Magnums, but I mean, we've kind of heard and kind of knew what they could be, but I haven't had any of those yet, so I must not be doing something right. You guys good? Go ahead, Chris.
You're jumping in. Go ahead, buddy. Quiche.
Is that loud enough for just about everybody to hear, more or less? No? Can you do that louder?
You want me to come up and just talk without it?
Brian, use your loud mouth. Just scream it. Yeah. Jody Gully, we
Oh,
need
boy.
something yelled.
Jody will definitely get things out.
Kunkel. Can't wait. I can't wait. I'm full.
Full of what? Food or beer?
Yeah, both. Food.
All right. Oh, it's humming.
Humming. So we got a slide. Catskill Fab donated a gas tank, stainless steel gas tank, which he brought some over to my house last night. Absolutely beautiful.
Oh, beautiful
my
work.
God.
Beautiful,
so beautiful
work. What can I do to help you, Chris?
Hover on that. Tell me how that looks. Don't touch anything.
It looks good.
Uh-oh. Chris, it went off.
No, you just go over it like this.
Hover over the intro. Over intro. Where it says intro.
Okay. Chris doesn't let us touch the important stuff.
Don't.
Is this framed up all right?
Brian.
No. You chop your head off. You got to bring the camera up a little bit. Katie will run it. Katie, you there you go.
No, you're good there. It's
You're
perfect.
good. Perfect.
Don't touch it.
Don't touch it. Chris gets grumpy.
Thanks, Mama.
Can I do that?
Yeah,
Do
you're
that?
Chris. It's your show.
All right, what we'll do is I'm going to mute these. All right, every year at the end of the year, Smashed Empire Films gives out a number of different awards. This year, we're giving out a total of 14, which is the most that we've ever given out, not to mention all the ties. So I think the total trophies and awards are something like 16 or so. Before we do anything, by all means, I want to say thank you so much for coming. This is absolutely outstanding to see this turnout for the first year that we did this. It means the world to us as a show, and personally, it means a lot to me to see so many friends and new faces here to come and ring in the new year the way that we are. And to everybody that helped make this thing possible, I thank you. Thank you very much. Before we get into the Smashed Empire Awards, we've got an order of business to take care of for the Reckless Warriors Tour. A lot of you guys are familiar with that. Ran all over Pennsylvania with Bo Lockwood. Their hallmark show was the Keystone Nationals. There was an award that Smashed Empire and Reckless Abandon and the Crash Course got together to sponsor with that event, and he's going to be formally recognized next weekend, January the 9th, at the Reckless Warrior Banquet down in Pennsylvania, but he's actually here now, and he's got some stuff. The award is called the Headhunter Award. It's the guy that was out there absolutely annihilating equipment, went to as many shows as possible. With that, he's going to get a roof sign and a set of door wraps, which worked out pretty good because he was really, really wanting a set of those. And as a result, when he goes to Sturgis, Kentucky, he's going to be wearing the Team Crash Course colors on the side of his car. Ron McClung. I thought maybe Ron wanted to come up and get his stuff, but Ron, congratulations, man. Here's your rear sign. This is what's going to be on the side of his car when he goes to Sturgis. All right. So the first award that we're going to give out, we had a really tough time picking this. We break it down between compacts and full size through the course of the season. We narrowed it down to 2 drivers in terms of the top newcomer award. We had it narrowed down to AJ Pensek, who has driven all over the place in the youth divisions, and now she's looking at making her move up into the full size division. And Emily Dillenberg, she's been around for a couple of years, but she's really made some waves, showed some significant improvement. This year, the award went to AJ Pensek. Unfortunately, AJ, Hank, and their family could not be with us tonight, but this is the award that she's going to get. If anybody wants to see them, they'll be up here. Please don't take them. I got to send them to her. The top newcomer award was just about impossible to pick. We've been in derbies all over the country this year, from Minnesota to Kansas, Kentucky, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Virginia. It's Utah. It's been a very, very good year, and we saw a lot of new faces. One of the first people that we thought of was Corey Roman. He won the Reckless Warriors Tour. He made some real splashes on the national scene. Another guy that came up was Joe Backus. He was a Team Crash Course driver at the Kings of Old School team event here in the fall, and he did a remarkable job. When he was at the Broome County Fair this year, back in July, he got hit in the side of it so hard it broke the transmission off, and the transmission spun upside down in the car. Nonetheless, Joe did a remarkable job in that outing. Another guy that came up was Austin Zastro, a guy from up in Minnesota that we got to see run a couple times. He was in a youth class up there. He turned a lot of heads. And then Serena Brandt, for the first time, she jumped into a full-size car running at in the stock division at the Keystone Nationals. She did a real nice job as well. And then finally, one of the guys that turned the most heads was Eric Moulet, driving with Minnesota Style out from California in his Cadillac. It was a very difficult vote, and as it turns out, it was a tie. Eric Moulet and Joe Backus are both going to go home with awards for top newcomer in the full-size division. Most improved compact driver, there was a couple different ones that we talked about, but again, the conversation continued to come back to AJ Pensek and Emily Dillenberg. We talked about them a little bit ago. Their home track is out in Dunkirk, Chautauqua County, which is year after year one of the hardest derbies that we see. We're trying very, very hard with the Fair Board to get the opportunity to live stream that show so everybody around the country can see it, because I think it's something that the rest of the country would like to see. Emily Dillenberg and AJ both did a remarkable job. Coming away with the Most Improved Driver Award is Emily Dillenberg. Emily had New Year's Eve plans already and couldn't be with us. The most improved driver, there was a couple different drivers that came up. Again, we talked about Corey Roman a little bit ago after he won the championship in the last event of the Reckless Warriors Tour. He ended up winning 2 events in Stoneboro. The other one that drew a lot of attention was Chris Lancaster, making his first ever run at the Blizzard Bash indoors in Topeka, Kansas, after he ran his first ever metric caddy at the Crossroads of Destruction show. The back end of the car blew to pieces, but he still had a remarkable season. Corey Roman, hard to beat what he was able to do. The guys turned in their votes, and Corey Roman came away with the most improved driver in the full-size division. The conversation about the Hard Luck Award going to a compact driver, it didn't take hardly any time at all. Pretty much everybody came up with the same thought process for Peter Enke. Peter couldn't make it here tonight, but he just about won 3 or 4 of the shows in the compact division with the Reckless Warriors Tour and could not break through. Just bad luck every time he turned around, to the extent where he was last out of 4 cars. I believe it was on his birthday. It was sort of a rough go for Peter. I've traded some messages with him tonight. He says thank you, and he wishes he could be here, making plans to be here again next year. The full-size award for hard luck, the first one that came to the mind was Mike Worth, driving with Team JYD. He took a shot in the back end, and it turned the sliding drive shaft into a banana. And he was so bent that he was going to do some carnage at Blizzard Bash, and he did a really, really good job getting the car back together. Another guy that was focused on a lot was Rich Ridinger, Psycho. He was really knocking on the door at the Reckless Warriors Tour pretty much every time out. But there was always something that kept him from getting over the hump. He was perpetually fifth, fourth, third, but never could get over the line. Mad Mike DeFreesia had some of the worst luck ever based on mathematics. All rights, he probably should have won the Reckless Warriors Tour, but the thing is it was done fair, it was recalculated, and it was disappointing for a lot of us. We're friends with Mad Mike. He is here tonight. Thankfully, he was able to brave the weather and get here through that snow in Pennsylvania. And then the last one, which I'm guessing is probably the one that's going to win this, Todd Siopa and the Siopa Racing team as a whole, having 2 fires in their shop, which blew up a couple drivers. It ruined a couple derby cars. They had 3 or 4 Baldwins and a couple red lines that were all lost in the fire. So there's certainly some adversity that all those drivers face through the course of the year in different avenues within outside of Derby. So the full-size hard luck award goes to, they split it. It's going to be Rich Ridinger and the Siopa Racing team. All right. Just wanted to make sure where we were in terms of where the awards are because they're all still sitting up here. The Siopas, Rich Ridinger wasn't able to be here. He had something else that had been planned in the Siopas. I can't really blame them. They're spending the New Year's in Orlando. Compact Showman Award. This award goes to the guy that puts on the best show for the fans. Never mind the win, never mind the checkered flag. They're just out there destroying their equipment and doing it basically for the fans. This is one of the most fun awards that we get to kind of judge through the course of the year. We had a bunch of people that came up on this. Don Dillenberg, he ran a Team Smashed Empire car at Kings of Old School. He had some struggles, but he ended up fixing the car, and he brought it back to run his hometown fair in Dunkirk, New York, and he was just going end to end with the thing. It was about 4 feet shorter than when he started, when he was done with it, and he could barely climb out the front window, and he did a fantastic job. Don Dillenberg, he's from up in the Dunkirk area. Todd Height is another guy. He did a remarkable job flipping his car over at the Northeast Championship in Brockton. We also focused a little bit on the Goodspeeds. Tom Goodspeed had a great run at Morris. He turned around and he was driving the wheels off of his car, just blowing stuff to pieces at Brookfield Wheel Days. And Eric Mears, who won the raffle car at Kings of Old School, drove out there as a team of one, ended up flipping the car over. The crowd was absolutely in love with him. And he ended up finishing, I think, 4th overall or something like that. He did a nice job. And Compact Showman of the Year award goes to Eric Mears. Eric is here. It was that raffle car that Ben built for Josh. Yeah. Showman of the Year in full size. We've seen way too many shows to make this an easy pick. Right off the top, Kenny Rosno's runs at Winter Slam and Blizzard Bash. He had the metric Cadillac that, in fact, Shaggy, the rear end did not go in the dirt of his metric Cadillac, and the whole back end had broken loose from underneath it. It was chucking back and forth. His mission is he runs WFO on the sides of his car. His mission is to entertain the fans time and time again. Ken Rosno, he was out there. Obviously, Jesse Kunkel would be one of them that everybody was suggesting for his run in the wire class at Bash for Cash, knocking people out of their seats time and time again. Mike Klinger from Mill Creek, Pennsylvania. Same thing. He won Mad Dog and the wire class at Bash for Cash. And lastly, Eric Remington for the efforts that he did with his Malibu and the Diplomat at Kings of Old School first in the spring and then the Chautauqua County Fair in Dunkirk. He stood the nose on a Diplomat. There was only 4 cars on the track in his heat. He had built all 4 cars. And he stood the nose on the Diplomat in one shot, and it came back so far that the throttle linkage had pushed back past the dash bar. Then he put it in reverse and drove away and did it again. The crowd was absolutely going crazy. We watched some of the highlights back on that stuff, and they have decided Eric Remington gets Showman of the Year. And we're just about wrapping up here. Driver of the Year, we try and recognize the people that do the most in their division. Dave Baker has never lost at the Jefferson County Fair in Brookville, Pennsylvania. He's run there. I think he's run the fair 6 times in a row, and then he was there in the Keystone Nationals rescheduled event, and he's won every time he has started on that track. Another guy, he's here tonight, promoter of Winter Slam in Garden City, Minnesota, Randy Maslowski, going back-to-back in the compact division at Blizzard Bash. And then Don Hartzell's compacts have won or placed in the top 3 every time his cars have been on the track, whether he's driving them or he built them. So it was a tough 3-horse race, and they've picked Don Hartzell as Compact Driver of the Year.
Compact Driver of the Year. Come on, Donnie.
You're really going to be hated next year, buddy. Good job. Thanks, bro. Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Full-size Driver of the Year.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Brian suggested Josh for this award several different times, and Josh always adamantly denied that, so we didn't even put him on the list. Steve Siopa was one of the guys that we thought about, winning Keystone Nationals. Coming back, that was another Keystone Nationals win for him. He also won the Superstock show in the spring with the Reckless Warriors. Jim Ellman, who had a car that had no right winning the feature that it won in the Chautauqua County Fair in Dunkirk, was in that conversation. Corey Roman, obviously, was one of the guys after he came away with the Tour Championship for the Reckless Warriors. Dustin Ingram, who won basically everything that he started out of Canada, coming up with a second-place overall finish at Blizzard Bash, winning Bash for Cash, winning Hot Springs, Arkansas, and then finally Mike Klinger, who ran second place at the Chaos in the Valley 2 event down in Woodstock, Virginia, after he won the Bash for Cash. The verdict is, hard to argue, Dustin Ingram coming away with that. We had the chance to watch Dustin a couple different times this year. Always a fun guy to watch. IF demo. Congratulations, sir. Driver of the Year. Thank you. And this award used to be given to the guy who made the most noise and didn't have the opportunity to run an in-car camera. It was the Made Junk Got Famous award. But obviously we had to change that because we're at so many different shows now we don't have the opportunity to run the in-car camera, so we had to kind of change the criteria a little bit. So we're basically looking at who sort of got farthest along on the national platform in terms of the damage that they did, the show that they had, who made junk and got famous. Mike DeFriesche was right at the top of everybody's list. They were picking him right away just because he ran something around 65 demos last year. Josh Decker was also in there. Josh, the criteria with Josh was he was a 3-time Mad Dog, winning a heavy hitter award in Kentucky, in Florida, and where's that other one? Pennsylvania. Brookville. He knew. Eric Moulet, his run at Blizzard Bash in that Cadillac with Minnesota Style, we talked about a minute ago, and then Mike Klinger with his run to second at Chaos in the Valley, and winning and getting Mad Dog Award at Bash for Cash. I didn't vote for him. No. Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. Thank you. But don't laugh. Don't give me water.
Get out of
I
here.
deserve that.
Yeah, you're right.
I do not deserve that.
You don't.
So I think we all know that.
But
I'll cut this in pieces and we'll all get a piece of it. Because the names that were up there, man, Mike, I mean, I'm not even in that game. Thank you. Whoever voted, thank you. But I don't deserve that. Appreciate it. Thank you, everybody.
The next 2 awards are brand new. We've never given these out before. This is dedication and spirit. This is basically going to recognize the people who went above and beyond what you would expect out of a demolition derby driver and builder to encompass their community and do something to better the world around them. The first group that we came across was the group that we were with most recently, Team Kansas, who changed their name to Team Weston and drove for young Weston, who has very severe epilepsy. They actually let Weston drive the car out onto the track at Blizzard Bash. And he stood on the hood, flexed for everybody. He had the microphone. Andy Robinson let him have the microphone for one of the heats, and they could barely get it back from him. He was on the show with us and basically took over the producer's job. He was a great kid, and they dedicated the whole weekend to him, and then Team Kansas ended up winning, and his family let him stay for the feature, and he was able to get his picture taken in Victory Lane. We're all familiar with the Gullies and Team Martin. All these raffles in the back, they're being done for Team Martin. We gave some shirts to the Gullies for them to raffle off or sell or give away. It's a tough situation to deal with, but I know they're making the best with it, and the communities around you. Butch Cullen's got a little bit of a bad rap, getting involved a little bit too closely with some of the stuff that was going on down in Florida with some shenanigans, but the guy's heart's in the right place. He's working very closely with Team Brandon out of Ohio, and he's got additional stuff he's already got planned for Bash for Cash next year that they're trying to do and kind of elevate Team Brandon. And then finally, Team Nasty Dogs at Dunkirk for everything that they were doing in terms of giving away bikes. And then they came away with the Broken Crank Award that was given by the Ellman family, and it was built by Al Kern, to the guys who most represented the spirit of Chad Ellman, who passed away back in January, in terms of giving back to the community and driving hard on the track. The guys made their decision, and Team Kansas. Dedication and Spirit Award. We'll get that off to Jimmy Johnson and the rest of that team. There really wasn't anybody that was going to lose that. That was a hard vote for everybody. The other first-time award that we're giving out is the Story of the Year. This is something that transcends Demolition Derby and would be newsworthy in just general news, something that really captivated the entire audience, whether you were a diehard Derby fan or somebody that was just casual and on the periphery. Obviously, Dustin Ingram coming out of nowhere and winning all those derbies, such high-profile derbies from performing so well on a national field. That was gathering all sorts of attention, carried a lot of esteem, and it was a story that lasted all year long. It started back in March, and it went straight through here at Blizzard Bash in November. The Ellman family, they lost their brother Chad unexpectedly at the age of 42, and it shook the Dunkirk community a lot. And then Jim Ellman turned around and drove a car that had no business winning anything. The thing was falling apart. He took a shot to the right rear, ended up kicking the tire off, and it dimpled the tire, and it turned it into a paddle. And a $400 junkyard motor restarted every time it was asked to. And he ended up beating Corey Neer, and he came away with the win on championship night at his hometown fair. Team Kansas, we just talked about them. That was a remarkable story. They've been behind Team Weston all summer long, and then for them to turn around and bring him out and for them to win, it really brought all those pieces of that story together well. Jesse Howe running at Kings of Old School. That was special for a lot of people in the Northeast. He ended up third there. Jesse was diagnosed with some pretty stiff illnesses there and didn't look like he was ever going to be able to get back into a car, but he did. And he ended up running third at Broome County Fair, where he's won like 30 championships or something. He's done remarkably well at that track. And then lastly, Dave Musto. Dave Musto ended up winning the Northeast Championships in a $10,000 show in a car that he put together in 3 days. He took the car out of the weeds, fired it up. He had to change a distributor. The car already had one run on it, and sure enough, he turned around and got his way to a $10,000 win. That story probably should have been Tommy Woodbury's, but it didn't pan out that way. So, Story of the Year winner. Guys voted. It goes to the Ellman family. And lastly here, just before we turn everybody loose, I know everybody's getting thirsty. That open bar is still getting traffic now, Senior Regibald. Steve Blankenship was the first guy that came up in the conversations about the Hit of the Year. This is the premier award that we give out every year. It's the Hit of the Year. Steve Blankenship and his GM in Utah, Kings of Destruction, made a full track hit so hard that he rolled his car. Not only did he roll his car, it rolled all the way over. He was able to refire it and drive away. It landed back on its wheels. It was incredible. He had an in-car camera running with him. It never failed, and it stayed with him the whole way over. And he had that footage on YouTube. Another guy that got a lot of recognition was Dan Godfrey in the Tonka Destruction car at Kings of Old School. He beat the snot out of a Malibu with his with his subframe car. and it was just remarkable to watch. There was nothing left of Jim Mann's car, and they finally had to pull Jim Mann out so that he wouldn't get hurt, because one more shot probably would have ruptured the gas tank. Eric Remington was in that conversation as well, not just for the fact that he shoved the nose of that Diplomat back so far, but the fact that he did it on cars that he built. And then how can you overlook Sam Bando, properly pronounced, by the way, Bando, in the number 7X, going on to a win at Crossroads in the Imperial class. Made a shot that was so hard, basically blew the transmissions out of both cars, and neither one of them moved again. So, finally, Hit of the Year award this year, Kings of Old School, Dan Godfrey. Just checking things here. It looks like that is pretty much going to wrap up everything that we had. I appreciate everybody hanging with us here. Thank you so much. If you've got hardware that you need to come up and get, or you want to claim it on somebody's behalf, why are you up here?
Stop. For 2 seconds, because he won't take a clap for himself, so I'm going to jump in for this. None of us would be in this room right now. None of our friendships that we've made, there's guys from all over the country, none of these friendships would be without this man. Can we just take a second and give the best round of applause to the guy that made all this happen for a lot of us, Chris Marquardt.
Unmute him.
Can you hear me? There you go.
Can you hear me? Are we good?
So we can definitely hear you.
I'm good like that.
Hey, I'm pretty sure it's free bar.
Free bar.
Okay,
Start
let's
drinking.
take advantage of that. Let's take advantage of that. Brian, if you need a drink, Brian will go get it for you.
Let's not get crazy. Wait. Nobody here's ever seen Josh Decker do any sort of work.
Oh
I think
my
Josh
God.
Decker should deliver drinks.
If you,
The 20 guys who were in Josh's shop last night didn't see Josh do anything except roll a tire once.
and I got them all drinks.
Exactly, so you can continue on and keep getting drinks.
Screw you.
But was there anything else that we got to say before we get out of here and enjoy the rest of New Year's?
Happy New Year's, everybody.
All those
Stay
guys,
safe.
all those awards that you just gave away, all the winners deserve them.
Oh, absolutely.
And the stories that you gave, there was some ones that some were so close that it could have gone
Virtually
anyway.
impossible. It was
And it was
brutal.
very cool, a lot of the different awards tonight. So I liked what we did. We
Absolutely.
mixed everything in there. It was very cool.
My phone was blowing up about people that disagree.
Well, guess what?
Not
You'll
true.
get over it. You'll get over it.
But
Next year they can have their own party and give out their own awards.
sure.
Next year, be here.
Sounds good.
Real quick, everybody, there are raffles in the back of the room. Please spend a little money, buy some raffles. If you don't want it, just give it to me. I'll take it home. But at least put your money in the bins. Thank you.
There's definitely some great stuff here. Just check stuff out, pick up something.
No fighting.
No fighting.
No fighting. Yeah, no fighting allowed here.
It's early right now.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming out. That is going to do it for this edition. Josh, good luck at Bash for Cash. Your car's going to look great.
I can't wait. Thank you for the wraps. They're going to look awesome. Absolutely are.
That's going to do it for us. We appreciate everybody coming and hanging out with us here on the Crash Course New Year's Eve party. We will see everybody again right back here on Monday night.
The Crash Course Podcast is brought to you in part by DerbyParts.com. The 2015 Wadena Grand Slam. Boat Lockwood Motorsports and the 2015 Keystone Nationals. Syopa Racing and SyopaRacing.com. Ultimate Derby and Blizzard Bash 2015. Demo Derby Masters. Reckless Abandon Derby Apparel at RecklessAbandonGear.com. And Derby Inc. Magazine. Live it, breathe it, be it, Derby Inc.